Nah, that's gay. That's gay.
With a plata, pow! What you got going on over there?
I'm gonna give you some Pepsi.
The regular. What can we do?
It's cool. Do you like that?
Streets are cold, so you know. We gotta blend in.
Kadut on kylmi.
Kadut on kylmi, that's why meillä on alfalainen takin.
Alright, hey.
Push
welcome
your plow.
back.
Wait, what?
Who said that?
Who said that, man? What's up?
Welcome back. Opinion Outlaws, Season 4, Episode 9. Let's go.
Stay on money, we stay on money.
And before we continue, I would humbly ask that everybody would do the right thing in this world.
Oh, yes sir, yes sir.
You go and subscribe, like, and comment down below. You know the deal. Follow us on social media, Opinion Outlaws, on Instagram and TikTok. And I would say we should tackle this next thing that we will be discussing.
The great subject.
The great subject. The subject is.
Pause. Presentation. The subject is.
The subject is. It was. Okay.
Yeah, no.
Okay. It was how you deal with stress in the changing environment. Last time we spoke about the art of letting go. How does it affect you? Where does it come from? How you can project? I don't know. Can you hear that?
No, it should.
You shouldn't.
It should.
But you feel.
You know, no, it's just part of nature, you know.
Yes, sir. And the art of letting go, not fixated, but it toppled on a topic that you as a human being need to let go of certain things that you cannot control, especially things that are harmful to you. And now, maybe not straight segue, but a little bit from the side now, that when the change happens, when something happens, the stress that piles up from that change, because usually stress is the motivator that pushes you to change. So when the change happens and you have still that stress, how do you navigate yourself during that time? And why then letting go was the right answer usually for that. So we are kind of doing the solution, then what's happening, the process to the solution. Like, it's a weird thing, but you know, the weird thing.
We gotta do what we gotta do.
It's a weird thing, but the weird things happen, right?
Hey, things happen. She be like that sometimes.
It should be like sometimes. And therefore, I heard this quote that you will know how successful someone is by seeing how much stress they can handle. Would you agree with that?
I mean, personally, I would say I do, to most extent. But it's not always a guaranteed thing that somebody who handles stress will always be successful.
Yeah.
But it's a great indicator because, how would I say? Let's say our business world is very competitive. There's no mercy for somebody who cannot handle a tiny bit of stress. Like, let's be honest. Pretty much anything that requires competition will always be stressful. Anything that requires you to think out of the box or create something new or put yourself into an environment that you are not used to will always put you in a stressful situation, and that's when you're tested. So I wouldn't, like I said, I agree with that, but at the same time, I would kind of like add on into that it's not just only that how much stress you can handle, but also how you navigate through that stress. Because you could always put yourself in a stressful situation and somehow survive from them. It might not always, build you or create anything out of you, but you just survive, that's it. But the person who can be put into stressful situation, but also function still as normally as possible during that time, is the one that usually becomes successful, because they have the ability of, my mind should be going 100,000, but I'm still capable of keeping myself in some degree of function that I can like make a, how would I say, conscious decisions. What should I do? What should I go? Where should I put this group? Where should I put these things? And so on. So yeah, that's how I would say.
Yes, sir. So my follow-up question would be that, do you have any recent events that has happened to you that you were in a very big stress, but you could detach yourself from that stress? Not like detachment in the sense that there is no stress, but the detachment that I'm feeling the stress, but I can still make conscious, logical decisions right now where everyone, including me, will have the best result. Have you had any recent?
No, probably not recently. Probably a couple of years ago during our workplace, but the ones that I majorly like remember are mostly during, like, for example, army times. 'Cause
right.
during
Yeah,
that
yeah,
time
yeah.
I was a squad leader, so I was supposed to like
The big man.
put
big man.
myself in certain situation where I have to like
Make them do push-ups.
no, but like you know, the simulated combat situations.
Yeah.
You know, I'm the one who's responsible of my team, and also gotta be able to make certain like choices of that.
Who's gonna die?
Yeah, well, that too, because remember, as a squad leader, you're also in that battlefield, so you gotta think about what you're doing as well
sir.
as what everybody else is doing around you. So that's at least the first one that I remember like more clearly. But even during our civilian times in workplaces, I might not always be in the leading position because you know, hey, if I ain't getting paid enough, I couldn't give a shit. Especially if I don't see the job as important, then I don't really have any interest in on being any leading position in that place. So I've done like certain situation. I've been in certain situation where I kind of like being the one in the background, like, you know, she is getting out of the hand, but no worry, I got this. You know, hey, you should be doing that. Hey, you should be doing that. I got this area. We cool. We cool.
Yes,
yes,
sir.
sir. Let's go. So, and of course, in such situation, I'm also like, oh shit, I'm supposed to be doing that. But somehow, the moment when you're like, well, shit, I got two options. I could let this shit go out of hand and just hope for the best, or I could take conscious decision that, you know what, I want to take control of whatever mess is going on right now. So let me at least try to take it to one direction. Because I remember from army from the, how would I say, leader school or whatever in army time.
Yeah.
There was this one saying, a leader who does or makes decisions is better than the leader who does not make any type of decision. For the sake, for example, of not wanting to fail or do anything wrong, because you prefer to have somebody who tells you to, let's go left, and okay, that left was a wrong decision, but at least they are capable of making at least some type of decision. So I was like, you know, I've taken that type of like mentality that at least I'm taking, and of course behind it, I will take the responsibility of whatever happened behind it. And yeah, that's my answer to that.
Yes, sir.
But before you start slicking away,
Oh my God.
putting me in the blast,
Come on, bro.
let's go back to you. So you asked me about the stress. Have you had any like recent event, could be even further in the past, some type of event that you were put in such a stressful situation that you had to think about it for a moment, that what the heck, like, what am I supposed to do out here? But you were still able to come out of it
Yes,
with
sir.
a clearer mindset.
Well, you have known me for a very long time.
No, I don't know this nigga, man. Why are you chapping, bro?
You have known me for a very long time, and you know that if there is like a very stressful situation or very big platform of a very big performance, usually my nerves are very cool. Like I don't start to crash out like, whoa, god damn, what is happening? No, I don't like I never do that. The recent is a couple months ago. Not even a couple month ago, something like that. In my workplace. Now, in my workplace, I'm not revealing what it is, but basically, I'm responsible for people that if something happens to them, I take the responsibility of patching them up and making sure that they are still alive. So and then we call the ambulance and.
Well, you kind of hinted mostly.
I have this kind of job. I will not tell more.
No disclosing.
No disclosing. Basically, at the workplace we had a situation where an older human being, they were stepping from the steps, four steps, and they took us one step further, and their blood pressure dropped. So he
Kind of fell down.
fell down.
Hit
The
there.
back of his head hits the corner of
edge
the step.
Ooh.
Hits the edge of the step, and I see people like waving at me. Like we are 4 or 5 people there. They waving at us, and I see somebody like lying down. So I sprint and I see the guy. So I sprinted to it. The first thing that's come to mind is, oh, I need to do CPR. I need to go and do the chest compression. Taya, taya, taya. By the way, learn that skill because you never know when you need it. And if you need it, you know how to do it. And if you know how to do it, you may save someone's life. Chest compressions, hands locked 30 times with the rhythm, stay alive, 30 times, and you count them. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then tilt the head back, blow 2 calm breaths, and then keep going until further notice. But thankfully, it wasn't, because when I arrived, I saw the blood bath was like this big. Like it poured blood. And he was talking, so I know, okay, he's conscious. And he's not like deluding or anything. So he was conscious and he was talking. So I looked up, maybe 10 centimeters. The open wound was 10 centimeters. It was deep. So I had nothing like close to me. I shout to my microphone that, hey, bring the first aid kit. Not even a kit. We have a bag. Bring the bag and bring some gloves and call the 911 or here in 112. And I put my hand directly. You shouldn't do this, but directly at his wound. I push it, like actually push it.
Compression.
So exactly, like you put pressure on that wound, because when you put pressure, the whole point of it is that you try to stop the bleeding. That's the whole point. If he's breathing, he's conscious, he doesn't have any wounds or anything else, you try to stop the bleeding. Now, the best way I could do is that put a whole lot of pressure with my hand to the wound. The worst part of it, I felt the wound when it got in. And then they arrive and they bring me some towels and I put the towel in. I still like put pressure on it, and it stopped bleeding. So I'm like, let's go.
We're going somewhere.
Let's go. And the other one is talking to him, that they are trying to like keep him cool,
aware
because
and conscious.
Because there are a lot of people who cannot see the sight of blood. They cannot see
start panicking.
They start panicking and stuff. And then the 112 emergency contact, they were talking to us, and then they said, is the patient or the human being like, are they conscious? Can they talk? And we say, yeah. They put on the phone and they start asking questions. Do you have this? Do you have that? Do you have any medication? And they take some 15 minutes, something like that, to arrive. And my hands are all in blood. Like it looked like I was in a fight. Like it looked like that.
My guy was a criminal, man. He's a Dexter all of a sudden.
And we started to patch him up, in a sense, like we put some, what's the
bandage?
Right word? Bandage. Thank you, man.
Right. Somehow I remember the words when I'm not talking. I'm like, I know English, but creating sentences seems to
we patched him with some bandage and we tightened it up, so therefore it was not bleeding. And when the ambulance people came, they asked me that, hey, what's going on? I said that, well, he fell. There's this kind of wound. It's deep in the back of his head. And they said, okay, thank you. And then I asked them, do you need anything? They said, no. I was like, all right, peace. I wash my hands and I write the report, because of course you have to report this stuff if something happens. I write the report, and one of the colleagues said that, hey, are you okay? Do you need like break or anything? Because you need to perform today. Like I had to perform later on that day. And I asked them that, I mean, yeah, it's our job.
yeah.
And then I performed later that day completely normal. I know for a fact that if similar situation happened to one of my colleagues, or let's say not even my colleagues, but people who work in this field, there is a high chance of possibility that they, I'm saying not traumatized, but maybe the performance that they need to put later on wouldn't do it, and somebody else has to do it. I'm not, and listen, I'm not saying that this is some.
What if they're gonna see this? Oh, what if they're gonna be like, "What you say about me, huh?"
Nothing, but they know as well. Like there are some people, maybe not right now, but there are some people who cannot stand the fact that somebody's bleeding, or the situation where just the idea that they fell and they could have been dead. Because it's the back of the head. It's the back of the head, and they hit like actually the edge of the stair.
Should have lost consciousness.
Like it could be easily just seeing the dead man doing. But thankfully, he recovered, and he came one day, and he was like, "Thank you very much for doing that. I'm grateful for all my life." And then I said to him that good that you're okay. Like it's great to see you again. And I said to them then that you know that you are very lucky that it could be in the worst. And they told me a story that there was a singer, somebody like not a famous singer, but a local singer. They went to this kind of place. They slipped, fell.
That was game over.
Game over. Very high stress situation, because you need to know how to handle this. If you don't, they will bleed out. It takes a few minutes, but they will bleed out. So high stress situation, how I handle it was that I still remain calm, because I am trained to do this stuff, and I have trained even in the military actually. In the military, I got the proper training, because I got drilled in the head with this, like, for example, compression.
Oh yeah, I remember those too. During the cold weathers too.
Oh boy, don't
hate it till this day, man. Like, I mean, useful, but I understand we're in a cold country, but goddamn, during the cold weathers, you're outside, y'all trying to do the compression and the freaking
tourniquet.
Oh, man.
That was ass. And because I went also, the right word is fighter saver, if we translate.
Yeah, basically direct translation.
Yeah, and basically what I am in the army, my profession is that I am the first line of medication when the situation is. So if we are in the front line or in the back or somewhere and we are fighting and somebody gets hurt, I am the first guy to go and do the procedure.
Kind of funny, because it's kind of like, oh my bad. Yeah, it's kind of like combat medic, but not combat medic fully.
Basically.
Like it's a part-time combat medic in each squad.
Basically, and I learned, like, for example, we learned how to patch a wound, like to actually stitch.
Wasn't it that y'all also get the patch that has the drugs and all that during proper wartime?
Yeah, like we got the drugs, or we got, for example, to put the, I don't know what's the right word for in medicine, but the one that you put here to take the blood.
Oh, the needle too.
The needle. We did that. We know how to put in the nose. You know the
stick more.
Yeah, it's like a stick thing that you put inside the nose so they can breathe properly. It's ass to put in somebody, and it's even more ass to receive it. But if somebody's conscious, you don't ask them.
You don't ask. You good?
You good? No, you just try out.
Do your thing. Luckily, I was a victim. Luckily.
And we also learned how to put the catheter. Is it the right word? The urinal pipe.
Y'all had to do that?
We didn't need to do that.
Luckily, I was the medic guy.
We didn't need to do that, but we like got the course. Part of the course was that to know even the theory about it. The funny story, there was a guy who didn't know what it is. Oof. Like he said the name, but he didn't know what it is, and he put the nose thing, like it's a rubber thing that you put in, like from the nostril right to your breathing core, so you can put the airflow running if the person is unconscious, and you cannot put them in a position where their airways is open, and he said that if everybody pays me like €1, €5, he does the no thing. And we're like, yeah, sure, we want to see it. So we put it inside of him. That's why I'm saying, like, put it to somebody's ass because it hurts to you and it hurts to them.
Oh yeah.
But then he says that if everybody puts €5, he also do the cathedral. Like,
Oh hell no.
and he didn't know what it was. That's what he said.
Hell no.
And the guy, the sergeant who was giving us the
Exactly.
course, he said that I will pay €50 if you do that. And he said, bet. What is it? And we told him that you had to put the pipe inside the urinal cavity, urinal pipe. He said, no, I will not do it.
Ooh, I started feeling wrong, man. I started feeling. Oof.
But my point is that I received a highly intense training about the medical aspect, but I'm still like a combat aspect.
That's why. Funny thing. Even though we're here, like going to army's ass, but Finnish army is really competent. Like especially when you think about how short of a time we get
Yes.
to learn a lot of things. Like maximum of time that you serve is like what, little less than a year, 11 months. And the shortest period is usually what, 6 months?
Yes.
So you can imagine trying to push all that knowledge, because most of the countries actually have 2 years serving time.
Yeah.
Which is, in Finnish terms, that would be like doing 2 tours.
Not only tutor, but you could be a fighter jet pilot of a fighter jet, because there is the 3 months when you go into the normal army, and then you get the recruitment. You have to be accepted in the recruitment. Then it's 2 years of training, and then you get the wings,
Wait, do you mean the...
the flight rock.
No. It doesn't require that. You can it's a 1 year course, full of 1 year, but you can get in even without starting the military. But we had actually one guy who did it in 1.5 years, 2 years maximum, because they went to the RUK, basically reserve officer type of course. But you do not become a reserve officer yet. You kind of become the student of it in a sense. And he went through that course. He finished that course, and then he got accepted in the. He was at the same time as with the the ones.
Yeah.
So he got accepted in. So basically, he started another.
Yeah.
But I don't remember. Did he start a full year, or was it like he had to do another half year on top of the half that he already had made? But I was like, sheesh. I mean, in his position, I would have done that too, man. Because he basically gets the skill set of being pilot, and on top of that, of being actual normal soldier as well.
And after he gets a pilot as a army guy, he can also be a pilot for civilians.
Yep.
So he's making a bank. And at 40 years old, you're in retirement, and you're like, hey, I'm set for life. But basically what he's trying to say, like in 2 years, you can be a fighter pilot or fighter jet in Finland. If, of course, you have to be a very competent person. But
no, correct that. Not 2 years, because in order for you to actually become a fighter pilot in Finland, you have to go the military officer, like a college or university.
Of course,
that's the and that thing is a little complex and harder, because actually my friend the also guy, his father used to be a jet pilot, and he's a retired jet pilot.
Okay.
And but. Not speaking that, yo, my homeboy, don't back me on that, but it requires you. That takes you around 3 more years, around 4 or 5 years before you become a jet pilot if you get accepted to the university.
Yeah.
But the one that you're trying to say that is a full year course, you kind of get to be not a jet pilot, but other smaller type of planes that are, just to teach you that how to navigate, do the planning, and fly overall pretty much.
So what he's saying is absolutely correct. That Finnish army is very competent to showcase you the very skills that you need as a person, not only as a soldier, but as a person. I went. It was 4 weeks, 6 weeks course that we did for the medication.
Yeah, something along that line, because if I remember.
Something like that.
Wasn't it shorter too?
4 weeks. I remember it was something like that. I don't remember exactly, but I learned, for example, all these medication skills I will need for the rest of my life. Somewhere, for example, this situation that I just described, that there was a guy who was slipped up, hit his head, and is bleeding full on. Head has a lot of blood. I knew what to do. I knew exactly what to do.
Thank you.
And he got saved. If somebody else panicked and they didn't know what to do, he could bleed out. And maybe then after we could have a much more difficult situation.
Bigger problem.
So, stressful situation. Like I said, a very stressful situation. However, because I have been in a very stressful situations for a very long time in my life, time and time again, when the situation comes, it is more like an instinct. I know exactly what to do. I know exactly where to go. And then, of course, if I am unsure of something, I communicate with people. I talk. Like, I'm not doing the thing that, I know, and then mess up.
How did that happen?
Exactly. No. If I'm alone, I'll do my best. If I know this situation, let's say I don't know anything else, I call 112 and they give me instructions. That's the best case scenario.
But that's, when you think about it, along the subject that we're trying to speak about, when you think about it, most of, at least a lot of our stressful experiences were during the military time, because we were kind of like forced into such a situation a lot of time, by example, being sleep deprived, or putting your team in a weird situation where somebody has to figure out something, or overall, like you were a lot of times put into that situation where you had to, which kind of like, especially to those who haven't had it in like before the serving time, it was kind of like great way of like reminding you, like, hold on, the real world, AB, the real world ain't all sunshine and rainbows like it used to.
You had this. I have had this. A tough week is coming. We had with weeks, and if you go to the army, you have the schedules, and in schedules you can see that a tough week, easy week, mildly week, and it depended like on the week. For example, if we go to the camp or we go to the woods,
the forest times.
It was a hard week because it was non-stop.
You were constantly doing something, but at the same time it was enjoyable time because you didn't have the how would I say, organized behavior. You didn't have that. You could have kept a little bit sideways and all that, as long as you were like very like formal. Your unit was very formal, like you looked the same, but you could like have a little bit beer. All that. Course, you didn't have stress.
And to the subject that we are speaking, when you had those stressful moments, of course, me and you, we have been raised in households where stressful was a very normal thing, or to be disciplined or to be in a stressful situation was a very normal thing. So when we went to the army, it was like, it's tough, but it is what it is.
Pretty much.
And the reason why I said that we have rough weeks, because 100% at the time, this is not a joke, I'm talking about 100% at the time, if there was a tough week, there were people faking, they were sick.
I got my knee hurt. Wait, what? I got the knee flu nowadays, say, my back hurt, I feel, the flu is going crazy. But that was, when somebody didn't have a backbone in a lot of cases. Like they didn't just, the people who don't like to feel pain. I mean, understandable, human nature, you don't want to feel pain, but pain in a way that you could, challenge yourself. It's not something you go.
Exactly. So, I'm gonna give you an example. This is not maybe that kind of example. It was where we got our asses torn.
Woo! Hold on. But what
do you know what happened? The problem was that any guy who has gone to the army, any guy who hasn't gone to the army knows if you're below the rank, you salute them. You see them, you say sir, or you salute them, or
ma'am, or whatever.
Until they salute you back, you cannot take that salute away. Right? It goes like that.
I probably was too tight, bro. My ass was all over the place. What?
And usually the bigger guys, the captain, the lieutenant, they usually don't care until you salute. Like if you do just this, and they will be okay with it. But there were some dumb asses. They didn't salute the captain. The captain walked straight past them, and they
They're
didn't
like,
salute.
was good, man.
Oh man, we was called out on the
Oh,
line.
I remember those days, bro. Those days was crazy.
It was night, and in Finnish army, 10 p.m. is the roll call. So basically, at 10 p.m. is silent. There's no. So 15, 20 minutes, something like that, before the time to go silent is the roll call. Is everybody there? Everybody needs to be in the same uniform, and your name will produce. Your name will said, and you will say yes sir or yes ma'am, whoever it is. And we got called, and they got us stood up there for like stupid dumbass, and we were staring. And
Spread that cheeks, boy.
and they were shouting like, because of course the word then got from captain
That's
to
automatic. We all know those bullshit.
captain to the sergeants and the instructions, and we knew we were in trouble when the sergeants, like, you know, the officers who was working, came at 9:30. And they were seeing the roll call, and we were like, "Why they are here?"
Something right.
Oh man,
Something
they
right.
tore our asshole up. It was,
Y'all don't get it. You know, high-ranking officer usually does not pop up unless it's a larger exercise or a parade.
yes,
If they pop up out of nowhere for no reason to your like a night countdown or whatever, something right, bro. Something right.
they tore our ass up. They kept us at exact 10 p.m.
Woo!
And when the 10 p.m. hit, we were holding up like, okay, now the lights will shut up. No, they didn't. They did. They kept us after that. And the reason was that it is a very simple rule. Salute or address them when they are higher officer. It doesn't matter that they are assholes, but you have to salute them.
What you trying to say, bro?
But we had some with two lines. I don't know what's the right word for that.
Corporal.
No, is it the corporal?
Yeah.
With two lines.
2 lines. Okay,
Yeah.
Corporal.
We had some guys with the two lines. I'm like, if we go to war,
Hey,
you ain't catching
You
me.
ain't it. This ain't it.
You ain't
This
catching
ain't
me.
it. It's kind of goofy because in Finnish we have it like the term corporal is the
Yeah.
one with one line, but 2 lines is corporal, the
Yeah.
actual corporal in
Yeah.
English.
And basically, we had those guys that, you know, they are assholes, but you have to respect the tag,
whatever rank they have.
the rank they have. So, and usually the guys who are like that are usually the guys who are like lower ranks. The higher ranks, like I said, they are cool. They are always cool. I have never met a captain or a lieutenant or admiral or general who was like a dickhead.
Well, I have met a lieutenant. Let's say like that. I have seen a lieutenant that was kind of like that, but I ain't gonna
But
say about that.
they deserved it, right?
Of being dick.
Oh no, the guys who they were dick too. Did they
No,
deserve
they
it?
were
Or they were cool?
the person who, you know, the rank, you know,
Yeah.
the higher rank, like.
Well,
But overall, I haven't like. Yeah, it's true. I haven't seen any like big rank person being that crazy.
so they didn't salute. The officer came like 9:30. I remember 9:30 they came, and they were doing the rounds. They were looking up what's going on, and of course the corporals, they are doing the roll call, right?
the
who
names.
and they were doing like with a little bit of stress. Because they knew.
Back straight.
Oh man, when he got up, he tore our asses. And the worst part is that in army, if somebody messes up, everybody's going to suffer. There's no exceptions. Which reminds me of a story, if I can continue.
Continue, of course.
You know the Abba and Preach?
Yeah.
And Abba was in the army, like
Yeah, I
a while.
remember.
And they had the 6 weeks program. The first time, you know.
Wasn't he enlisted? I remember that he was enlisted.
Yeah, he was enlisted. And the first 6 weeks they have the barracks, basically the basic training, how to hold a gun, how to be in the army, how to address people, like the basic training. We have it over here as well, but we don't have 6 weeks straight.
Yeah, we have it really short.
We have 6 weeks, but we have 2 weeks, and then we can go to the parents or to
But
the vacation.
that was like during it's just weekend. We call it vacation.
No,
but,
vacation,
you know,
yeah,
it's a
weekend. They have it 6 weeks straight, and then after 6 weeks, they have 2 days of the weekend basically, and they need to come back as well. And the officers, before they let the guys go, they said to them, "Hey, be careful what you do." because of course they know 6 weeks with guys frustrated, young, dumb, testosterone hit, like it ain't go end well. And 10 p.m. sharp was like roll call when they did the night count. So he said that some people didn't show up. Some people were there, but not completely.
Ooh.
And
you're not showing up was.
And it happened that somebody came, but he was not like, he was a little bit off. And the sergeant was doing the rounds, and he went to the person. He said, like, Private Fletcher, why do you look like this? I'm sorry, Sergeant. What is this? I was doing cocaine off a hooker's back.
What the?
Everybody who was like on the 3,000, everyone like turned around like, wait, what? Everybody
testosterone, right?
Like, everybody knew they were cooked because they looked at each other. Oh man, we're gonna do so many push-ups tomorrow.
The mercy, because I remember we had the same issue that somebody came late from vacation.
Do you know what happened afterwards? The officer, I'll be back. He went. He brought out other officers. Say what you said.
Tell me again one more time.
I was doing blow out the hooker's back. But yeah, you had also the guys who came late.
Oh, because you remember we had the strict rules, especially with schedules, you had that period that you gotta be here, this, that.
8
and
p.m.
every time you were in a vacation and you had to come back to base, you had certain time that you were supposed to register yourself in.
8 p.m.
Woo! Sharp. No minute later, 2 minutes early, after, none of that, man. Sharp. And if you were late, the staff sergeant gonna hear about it.
The line came up then.
The staff. At least we were forgiven, if we were inside the building, but there was a long line. If you were, because we had like, one of the situations. The moment that you step from sharp, you are already indoors. Doing the shop, and you're just waiting for the line. At that moment, you are slightly forgiven.
But the doors were closed after 8 p.m.
Oh yeah,
you remember?
Yeah. And especially, usually it was corporal who was like registering the name, because they were kind of like the, how would I say, the
one who was keeping the order.
Yeah, because we usually had somebody always nominated, or not nominated, but kind of like titled as a
elder. Is the right word?
Yeah, kind of like elder, or the Overwatch of the whole company or whatever, and it usually was a corporal, and they were kind of like responsible of counting down names, whatever staff sergeant told them to do. For example, calling out names and so on, and checking locks and whatever was the fun time. Oh yeah, I remember I had to do those too. So if you were 1 minute late, you try to do the eye sign to the guy, could you forgive me on that? Because we had one of those too, that somebody was trying to, be friendly with the corporal, and corporal was like, nah, I ain't give you no chance. And usually when you came late, that was guaranteed to go to the staff sergeant, and later on you were reprimanded with either doing extra labor or some extra bullshit.
Yeah.
Guarantee.
Clean the kitchen.
During when you had like your free time, you were told to go pick up the shovels or some shit like that. Yeah. Oh my god. So that's why you wanted to always be on time, so you don't have to do no extra. So remember, kids, if you want to have a simple, a very smooth life, be on time.
Be on time. Yeah.
Be sharp. You will avoid most of the problems. But toward the actual funny thing that we're relating it to the army, because that's the easiest, because we had like a lot of like experience on that, and we can both relate on it. Remember the, how would I say, challenges? Well, not challenges, but the on top of the actual exercises, like the bigger exercises, we had like the team, kind of like a competition in a sense, but it was also to test out how strong of a teamwork we have and how strong of a mindset the team has. It was like a longer period of like a test that you and your team were supposed to take a example long route, do some tasks in between.
Yeah, you mean it was 50 hours, something like that.
Well, that time we did not know necessarily. At least the first, because funny thing, I had to do it twice.
Oh, really? Yeah, because you were, yeah.
Correction, I had to do it 3 times.
Okay.
Because during the start, I had to do it once. During the when I get my first corporal rank, that time I had to do it also, or at least similar type of one.
Yeah.
And then with my own squad, I also had to do one. So yeah, let's say like that. I got enough of that shit.
Yeah, I remember we was woken up at 4 a.m. because basically it was, let's say, tomorrow it starts. From 12, everything afterwards is gloves off.
Yeah, there was nothing information.
And then from that, up until 48 hours, there was playing time. Everything, you were like, you remember, you were put push-ups, you were doing this, you were that.
Oh.
So,
keep on going on that part. So very much what he said, like, but funny thing was that you know when you see the calendars, because we had calendars, so we knew most of the time what was coming up, like January type of way. And you were just told that, you know, you have this great exercise coming up tomorrow. And, you know, you expect, you know, okay, it's that day, but you get to wake up, like, because we weren't told that, you know, you gotta wake up early. So you're like, no, it's no problem, you know, I'm asleep, you know, the regular and so on. And then you were waking up like middle of night, like around what, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock?
4 o'clock, yeah.
4 o'clock.
And
you're like, what the heck is going on?
And it wasn't like, hey, wake up. No, it was shouting.
Ooh.
They were panicking. They were doing that.
Pack your shit. You know, all the sounds and all that, packing your shit. And then it was all fun, you know, that you know, you still got to do the, you know, get your breakfast and so on. But after that day, it was, you know, pure, do your thing.
So you got breakfast?
Did we get it, breakfast? Because I don't fully remember. At least the morning. I just remember we were like panically woken up, but we had time to like gather our stuff and like move to like waiting area for us to like be set off, because we were not set off all at the same time.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's why. Because I remember we were forced to do some tasks in between before we were actually sent to the main mission or the main job that we had to do. And let's just say like this, it was annoying because first of all, this is where you are tested with how a strong mentality you have. You weren't told how long you have to walk. And depending on a lot of places where you serve, it might vary, because there were like certain areas where you are required to do those tasks in order for you to receive, for example, the beret.
Yeah.
The beret, pretty much.
Yeah,
or certain color of a rank or what.
Yeah.
Well, not rank, but certain color of a patch, for example, for the certain regiments. And well, you weren't told how long the thing gonna last, and you were just told that there's a lot of like points.
Yeah.
Because you were given the map. Your phone was confiscated. All the other entertainment was confiscated. So all the entertainment you had was your environment and people around you. And your watches was also taken, so you do not know the time, because that was something that they wanted to play with. And pretty much you were just told, you know, have a fun time and do whatever you got to do, you know, do the task.
Yes, sir.
And it was fun in games, you know, in the beginning. You know, everybody had energy, you know, because, you know, we still haven't done much. And between each checkpoints, you know, you do your task, you were required to, most of the checkpoints were something along the line of you doing something with the team. Because that was the main point, for the team spirit to be heightened and tested.
Yeah.
And yeah, a couple of checkpoints were easy and not, you know, you got place to cook the meal, because we didn't get like a made meal. We had the bags that you had. I hated that shit. Like, I'm gonna tell you till this day, I hated that shit.
It was like a camping bags.
Yeah.
But it was for quick food. You put the water in, you shake it off, and you leave it be, and for 5 minutes, and then
kind of similar to the American MRA, but a little bit different.
Yeah.
A little bit different. And you know, that was the thing you had to survive with. And my ass, because for half of the shit, I could like literally the rice was ass. So half of the main meals I didn't eat. So I was surviving mostly on the other type of shit. So we were like, yeah. You know, everybody had energy. You know, we got to eat and all that. But the tiredness and like the stress level was setting in a lot of teammates. You could notice the ones that, quote unquote, the weaklings. You could like notice them. But hey, the whole team is as strong as the weakest link. So that's the main point. But you could like notice the way people's face shifted and the tone shifted on a lot of people. And of course, there were a few of us who were like, you know, yo, we're good, we're doing this. Then you realize, oh, it's already evening, and the thing still hasn't ended. And you're like, okay, so is this going all the way tomorrow? And yeah, it is. You know, imagine marching during the sunrise and then the sunset, and you still keep marching, and you're like, oh, is it gonna stop? Because one point you were taken like close by areas, some familiar areas, so you're like, oh, we're going back. But then all of a sudden you were giving instruction to go all opposites.
Yes, sir. Like they're trying to break you. That's basically the
opposite route. And I got to enjoy it in different, because like I said, 3 times, so I got 3 different terrains to enjoy. So the first one was familiar because it was like...
And 3 different teams, right?
Yeah, pretty much. The first team, the second team was more of like people who were like becoming like leaders or squad leader or whatever. So they were kind of more, the mentality was still a little bit different. But then the third time was with my own squad. So I was the one kind of like doing the thing that was done to me in the first time. Damn. So we were keeping our mentality strong. We were like, yeah, it's good. No, correction. No, I did it with my squad too. Because I remembered that I also were the one holding points. I did that too, so I was like, hold up. But I did it 3 times. And, well, during the nighttime, we were like, oh, probably we're gonna get, back home, back to base, get to sleep, so see. Because some of us were already like, but no, you know what we got to do? They were told us, oh yeah, because I remember we had this one point of like, they were like, hey yo, it was kind of like we were put into like loud sounds. They put loud sound in the background because we were in the middle of forest. They put loud sounds and they told us, build up the tent as fast as possible as team. And they were like, because people were a little bit already not in their rightest mind and they had to still function normally. And of course, in that situation, one takes the order. You put the middle bar up, y'all go in the side, you set up the goddamn oven, and let's get it. Everybody do the thing. All right, cool. Then they tell us, take your bags out and sleep under the starlight or moonlight. And you're like, okay, so y'all get to rest.
Yeah, right.
That was jokes, man. Straight jokes. What? They give us like resting time for like 20 minutes for half an hour or some shit like that. Wake up, y'all gotta keep moving.
Oh, come on.
The best part was during the last checkpoints when people were literally cracking up. Like, they were literally cracking. Like at that point, people have like walk like long miles, and your legs were kind of getting tired. Your back was getting tired with the because we had like the bigger bag that had most of your important stuff that you were required during the actual military time.
Like we had a list.
Yeah, we had a list.
And we had to...
Woo, the list thing, bro. I hate it.
We had a list and every single item had to be in that list, in that bag. If there was one missing...
Oh, you remember what it meant. It meant guarantee that your team had to do something that will affect the rest of your trip. And it was always extra weight.
Yes, sir.
Guarantee extra weight. So if you were already tired with the weight that you had to carry, but this is what I mean, the weakest link. So with the weakest link part is that the ones who were like had still strength and mindset on point were the ones who usually had to carry the extra bullshit.
Yes.
So that's why Remember, be sharp, be on time, because you do not want to make other people's life more miserable.
I had to carry someone's gun.
I had to carry some people's bags, on top of
Bags,
the bullshit that I
guns,
already was carrying.
And we had, I know you had that moment. I had that moment as well. I'm looking at the guy that I'm carrying his gun. I'm looking at the guy. If I now swing this gun at your face,
My guy switched teams. My guy switched.
but you can understand what he's coming from.
So that situation, the stress levels were getting high. Of course, it was getting high on everybody because everybody was getting frustrated, and the team dynamic was kind of like. Of course, most of us were trying to like maintain it to be proper because if you have a bad dynamic already, and you're trying to you don't know how long you gotta hang out, that shit gonna turn sour.
Yes,
so we had a lot of stress in between us and sleep deprived and all that, and those were the moments where you were kind of like tested how you function in your mind. And of course, in my situation, I was like, hey, close out everything else. We keep pushing. And the moment that you were actually tested properly with that was, remember when you were taken to like last points, which were the written test.
Yeah.
And you were put into the room with
all the noise.
The noise, and they were trying to see how you function even in stressful situations. Are you capable of answering normal questions, or at least like it wasn't too difficult of a question, but something that somebody who's in a normal state of mind is capable of answering it.
Yeah.
So you were tested that, and boy, oh boy, oh boy, I don't remember. Was it that in our team? During the second time that I did it, in our team, you had the rule that you couldn't talk.
Yeah.
You had the rule that you couldn't talk. You had to write your shit.
And officer would be, I remember, they would ask questions.
Try to.
They see that who will break, who will say something.
Oh, my ass was like, nah, you play with the wrong nigga. I don't even talk to my cousin. Wait, what? just the jokes. So I was like, but literally, like, luckily, the first time when I did it, nobody spoke. Yeah. Everybody was quiet, so that was, we passed. But you know what's funny? The last point or last checkpoint was actually that took us to the base. Everybody was like, ooh, finally. But then the sergeant, or was it, if I remember, was it sergeant or lieutenant, told us, oh yeah, nice, you made it out here. Well, guess what? Give me a map. Then he marked the next point around 7 kilometers away. And that was the moment when one of our teammates was about to fold. No, not even talk. He was about to say, I quit, literally. And he actually kind of like said it first, but then, the team, we were like, hey, yo, my nigga.
It's okay.
It's good, bro. We good. Okay. We keep pushing. After all that time, because remember, we also were in stressful situations, sure. but we we keep pushing, yes, forward. So we kind of like switched his mindset, and he was like, I knew if it was him alone, he would still like quit it, but because he was like, okay, he was put on the spot to some degree, but he also wanted to be part of the team, or not giving up on the team. So it's like, let's go. Ooh, that's my boy. But funny thing, we were about to march because we told the sergeant or lieutenant, whichever it was, we told him that, we ain't quitting, we keep on pushing. And he was like, all right, go. And we were just about to march out because he thought, it was the test to find out if you are bugging. So we were like, and we didn't know. We were like, all right, we go and see you later. But then we got to march like 10 meters, something like that. He was like, nah, come back, y'all. He didn't tell us it was finished, but he told us, no, get your stuff, get in, get this waiting room, whatever it is, and so on. And we were kind of, he was still like keeping in a way that we might be sent off to somewhere again. And I was like, all right, cool, my boy got to chill, boys got to nap in the ground, because literally everybody threw the back and was laying on the ground. And that was like the own journey, but you remember it too.
Yeah, we had very similar. I remember it step by step because we had, the reason why I remember step by step is because the malfunction that we had, our microphone that we had, it malfunctioned, and the sergeants were scared that something happened to us. So I remember that. So when they woke us up, they thought that something happened to us. And I remember every step. We were woken up at 3:30, and the guy shouted at our door like, "Hey, wake up, wake
Time
up!"
to move.
And he puts the lights on, and he puts the sirens on, like it was on.
Hectic time.
And we went outside, and outside were like cabinets, and in those cabinets, pilots were sleeping, like the actual pilots were sleeping.
I remember.
So the sergeant, who was in charge of us doing like the back and forth, no do push-ups, no do squats, no do this, no do that, no go run, then come back. Like he was doing this for an hour straight. Like he was just ramping us up all over again, time. And then he set us to the run a few kilometers. We came back to the base. He said something like, we have time from 6 a.m. to 7 a.m., 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. to get ready. So eat something, put the stuff together, and let's move. What I did, I was smart about it. I put my stuff earlier in
You got time to chill.
I got like the night before. I knew exactly that some things will happen. So I put my stuff in, and I tried to take a nap, but of course you can't. We got blindfolded. We got blindfolded. We sent somewhere.
Oh yeah, with the truck, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
Somewhere far away, and then they said, simple, do these points and come back.
You see this map. Do what you got to do.
I was the guy. I was not a leader or anything, but I was the guy who usually was the best soldier in that group or in that team or in that whole section that we were doing. And everyone knew that if something happened, he is the guy. He's him.
He's him. Let him do it. Let him do it.
Even though in rank, there were many people who outranked me, but outperformed me never.
Oh.
So
Let him preach. Let him preach.
when we had marched for, I would say 25 kilometers, 30 kilometers, and it wasn't road. Big emphasis. It wasn't road. It was just woods on woods. Like there was no road to follow. There was route and the map. The time, the clock, the phone, like you said, everything was confiscated. So your mind will start to try to play tricks on you, the hallucinations. And we had a similar experience. Like we did all the marks, and then they said, "Hey, come back." We got blindfolded again, put in a truck. It was like 7, 8 p.m. because the sun was setting at that time. And we got to the base. And when we got to the base, as you said, the sergeant or the lieutenant, I don't know,
Wow.
did this exact same thing that they did to him. And said, "Congratulations, you came back, now you need to go there." And I look at the team and said, "Well, we got to do what we're gonna do." And I put my bag up, and somebody else said, "Why we are doing?" Like I said, "Hey,
Don't ask questions. Let's do it."
because in my era when there were some guys with mentality that if it was pushed a little bit more, they could actually be broken, like in broken.
Every year we had those.
And I'll put my back up and say, "Hey, let's go." And as I'm turning and I will take a few steps, he shouts, "Hey, come back."
It's jokes.
So you maybe put somewhere else, but now go to the room. And we went to the room, and the circus music was played.
Oh, yeah.
It was played. You couldn't speak anything. So we get in the written test, and basically what he said, what day is it? What day it is? What's your name? Where are you serving? What's the number of your gun?
And then some type of mathematical question.
Very simple questions, but everyone was marching, or everybody had already like 2 hours, 1 hour of sleep somewhere. And we have marched for over 50 kilometers. We have done task after task. And then we have gotten back. And now, like you said, stressful situation, high regard, high sleep deprivation. Everybody's tired, everybody's angry, everybody's pissed off. And you're tested constantly. And that same music was always on the microphone. You remember?
Ooh, y'all had a cloud music?
Yeah.
Well, I think I had once. Mine was the baby screaming and then the army siren.
All right. We had the clown music.
Ooh, that was noise.
And I remember, I remember this experience because after that, I remember I was sitting in the hallway that we have, alone. Like I was just watching to the emptiness.
That's when you already zone out.
I was zoned out, but I had this such a calmness in me that I didn't have for a long time. And I remember when I went to like I shaved, because you have to shave. I shaved. I went to shower. I slept. Oh boy! Next morning, felt good to wake up like a human being.
Hey, I'm telling you.
The sergeant who did the drilling from 3:30 to 6 a.m. The captain reprimanded him hard. You know why?
Because the pilots.
The pilots. They were like, hey, we need 8 hours of sleep by law. Why is he screaming in front of our cabins? The captain was, I will tell you, he was reprimanded.
Oh, I remember.
I remember afterwards, 2 months, and then we got sent home. In that 2 months, he was silent. He couldn't even raise his tone anywhere.
Hey, what the hell? Because I remember, yeah, it was because we had the rule of that drivers were required to sleep at least 6 hours, or that was the minimum requirement. And you know, you know what? Because I had the driving license as well, so sometimes, you know, rarely, but sometimes I got to be the designated driver of our team. So, you know, my ass got to have those princess times, you know, but those were luxurious times, you know what I'm saying?
So the reason why we are talking about this is because those are maybe the most stressful situations that we have had in our life. Of course, don't get me wrong, like suffering in itself is not a new thing to us. We saw people there in army, because usually army is everybody is in the same place. There's no leverage on one another. There's no white and black. There is no you're Finnish and you're not Finnish. There's who is better. Basically that.
Actually, and the funny thing, I wanted to divert from the army thing because that's the typical that we know. But even in civil life, because I didn't remember in the beginning when you asked the question, I was like, my mind was foggy about it. But now I remember. I got two quick ones. First one was when I traveled, I traveled with a friend to I ain't gonna disclose on the country, but anyway, we went to somewhere. And it was our first time traveling together. And you know me, with the mindset of, you know, tough times, my ass was already like steady and aware of, you know, if something happened, you know, I got this, you know, we go left, right. We're surviving, let's say like that. Because ain't nobody gonna kidnap us, ain't nobody gonna do none. And when our plane landed, we had first issue. There wasn't any buses that took us directly to the location, our hotel. Okay, now no problem. We checked on the train. We're like, alright. That was also kind of a little bit of difficulty. So we decided to take a bus that actually took us to the opposite side of the city. Or kind of like not the center, not in the middle, because our hotel was kind of like in the, how would I say, west side of the city, but a little bit further from the middle part of the. So we took a bus that took us to the opposite side. And I was like, no worry, bro, we got this, you know, because my homeboy, he ain't the most, you know, he ain't the most of, you know, he was the, you know, cool, you know,
yes, sir,
you know, how would I say, fashionable guy.
Yes, sir.
So I was like, no, let's take a bus to the opposite side and we'll figure out. And remember, it was around 1 a.m., 2 a.m. at that time. So our options were kind of limited and we didn't want to waste money on taxi. Of course, the getaways. So we took a bus. The bus driver was crazy. You know, imagine being a tourist and you ain't no shit, but the bus driver was like speedy and all that. We managed. We got there. Then the next thing, you know, because I ain't gonna disclose which country, but during the nighttime, that place was, you know, ghetto, yeah. Like ghetto, like you could see homelessness. You could see people like on drugs, on some shit like that. And imagine, my ass was, you know, cargo pants. I don't remember if I had like Converse or boots and like jacket, and I had my backpack like it was a bigger backpack, but it was in my back. So, you know, I'm ready always to. My boy, he came with a chinos, you know, the light pants. expensive ass shoes, and I don't remember if he had a t-shirt or a longer sleeve, and he was like dragging his his luggage.
Yeah.
And I was like, my nigga. And funny thing is, because my ass is very aware of my space, and I'm like, especially in foreign country,
for sure.
you do not want to act as a tourist.
Yeah.
You always want to behave as close as to locals as you can get.
Sir.
And my ass was like, nah, my nigga, you gotta switch your walking style. You gotta, because I started noticing that, we had this one conversation with this one strange guy, and he kind of sounded sketchy. So I was like, nah, we're good. Then I started looking around, and people were kind of like sketchy. They were giving a little bit of eyes because my homeboy was walking a little bit touristly.
Too much tourist.
Yeah, too much tourist. I was like, yo, my boy, you gotta step it up. You gotta switch out because this ain't it. We ain't trying to be caught lacking all of a sudden. One of us getting robbed or stabbed or something.
And understand, there's a difference because they look like tourists, but if their behavior still looks like they're locals, the locals will say, okay, we will not mess with that.
They will just like, you kind of like, you are kind of visible. How would I? No, you're not visible.
Unvisible?
Unvisible.
Not unvisible, but I would say more of a, because you're like them, it's not a big deal.
They do not. You do not attract their attention towards you.
But if it was like your homeboy who clearly stepped out of the way,
telling you, we had to walk because at first I was like, to here the bus left us. We walked some weird distance to the west. And funny thing is, we had how many kilometers, 10 kilometers to the hotel. So we're like, we gotta figure out, this ain't it. We ain't gonna walk all this way through. So what we gonna do? We quickly checked from the phone, okay, you gotta do this. There's this bus that actually drops closest to it, but the bus is on the north side, so we gotta walk there. And that's when we start seeing sketchy people, people were kind of literally. I saw somebody had weird bottles and the funny thing was that they were all kind of how would I say? Fine, that's it. But we got to this bus station. The bus station in itself looked ghetto as hell. Ghetto as hell. If I told you this city, you would expect it to at least, live it up.
But you basically saw someone's the body lines.
It was almost like that. Let's say like that. It was almost like that. You felt all of a sudden this is supposed to be first world country. How is this all of a sudden?
Yeah.
But anyway, we got to the bus station, and even in the bus station, I was like, some sketchy going around there. So I was keeping my eyes all over the time. Every time somebody's walking close or nearby or behind me, I didn't make it apparent, but I was aware that where it's going because I was like, some happen, most likely the shit gonna be relied on me. So that was the type of stress that was constantly put on me. So we were waiting on the station, checking on blah blah blah. The bus came. Even inside the bus, there were some sketchy people. I was telling you, sketch. Until we got to the hotel, you remember the bus, had to drive the opposite side of the city, and so on. That was one of the cases where I was put in some type of stressful situation, but I was the one, because I'm telling you, if you saw the people in that bus station area,
I know what you're talking about.
Guarantee your ass would be holding your holster, gun, or whatever you had going on.
I know what you're talking about.
Second story is actually during my time of whatever in the past, hypothetical. Again, we go with hypothetical, we'll mention names. There was this scene with another hypothetical, related, hypothetical. Yep. And we had this little drama going on. Right. It wasn't on me, but I was part of it because I was, connected to this other hypothetical.
So you didn't say anything, but because you're still related to that thing.
It wasn't about saying, it was action, Okay. Imagine seeing an action movie and, shit be happening, going left and right, doing down, somebody being followed, somebody being chased and so on. And just imagine you were in the show. So let's say hypothetically, we had this type of situation going on that it was really stressful. You being followed, you got a race. Literally, do you remember the car that I had before, the Mitsubishi, bro? That car was so... That car saw things, bro. That spoiler was flying. Like literally, first of all, I had to escape this because, like I said, I'm very aware of my surroundings. So I kept constantly checking mirrors. So I was like, I feel like I'm being followed.
Yes,
so
sir.
I got to do something. And I had this,
Yeah.
hypothetical. Again, we're keeping it hypothetical. If you don't get it, hey,
That's on you.
that's on you. But hypothetical. So I had this hypothetical with me, and I was like, you know what? I feel like somebody's following me. So let me do a quick maneuver. Then I pulled it in the park, closed the light, and like I guess right, I was being followed. Next thing I see, 2 cars. Then my ass was like, alright, cool. So I knew somebody's following me. I start the car, pull up, do whatever, meet the other persons, shit was going on. Even cops were involved in this subject. Yeah.
All right.
Bro, I told you that night I was kind of like proving that when shit happens, I got
this.
it. And here we're coming to the story. And cops stopped me. They were like, yeah, we've been getting this call about this incident and da. And y'all are related to it and da. Yeah. We told the whole story.
Yeah.
It's longer, whatever. And they were like, alright, because they stopped my car and they were the undercover cops. So on top of that, I was like, she go crazy. Alright, I was acting cool. Check my car, check my back seat, cool, close the car. Next thing we drove back to the city, got the hypotheticals, related hypothetical, and drove to the related hypotheticals home basically. But while driving there, we felt that somebody was following us
Again.
And you know what? I was like, yeah, I feel like somebody's following. Let me be cautious. So you know what my ass did? I was like, you know what? We ain't gonna park in the same park of your apartment. We're gonna park on your ex's. Like we literally left my car in the ex's park spot because they lived kind of close by, but they weren't home or anything. So I took the ex's parking spot because he wasn't home. He wasn't even in the city.
Yeah.
I took his parking spot, and then I had to literally give them instruction. I pulled the car there, and I was like, follow me. I got this. I go first. Y'all come behind me. I will always give the sign of things clear. And these 2 motherfuckers were like,
What's going on?
like that's how I knew when shit hits the fan. Usually it just shows that people drop down back to their gender roles, even though people like
yes, sir.
But I got to see it firsthand, and I was I got
The man.
behavior. But anyway, I was like I went I looked from corner of the building if I saw any cars and so on, and I was like, alright, I went over walk as casual as possible because I wanted to look as civilian as well. What? I was civilian, but still I wanted to look unnoticeable as hell. Then I was like, what, the hand sign, let him come, no, and I kept telling them like, no worries, it's cool. Like the less you stress, the easier it is for me to give instruction and all that. And yeah, funny thing, we saw the car that was following us because I was like, you know what, hold on a minute. I saw the car. I was like, alright, cool, move. We went past there, whatever, because we kind of circled through another building, went between the how would I say? What do we call Pihat?
The
playground kind of like a playground or whatever.
The playgrounds, yeah.
Yeah, and those 2 were panicking, holding each other and all that. I'm like, nah, cool, it's cool, follow me. I got them all the way to home basically, no problem. And then later left coolly with no problem to went pick my car up with this hypothetical and got her also home. And it was that day I was guaranteed nigga, if shit happened,
yes sir,
hey, believe in me, because aware of situation and in stressful situation, of course. The funny thing is that people think that in stressful situations somebody who looks calm don't get any type of stress or any type of feeling. No.
he had it.
Hey, of course I gotta stress some type of way because I'm responsible of now multiple people, not just me.
I'm not saying it in a bad way, but I'm saying that you had it, just like anybody would have. But there was a difference. Still, it wasn't in a sense that you were stressful. What should I do? But no.
I didn't allow the stress to lock me up, basically.
Yes, sir.
And I was like, ah, cool, because I was like, shit, if I'm gonna go bamboozle, ain't nobody gonna survive
Exactly.
this situation. So yeah, we all got. So I was like, calm, cool, collected, told this instruction left and right, and I demonstrated basically to that hypothetical during that time that y'all can rely on me. And they even told me later on, like she was going crazy. Like when people like calm down and then they remember the story and they tell it in a way that it was cooler than what it was actually. Hey, yo, bro, I remember. Yo, I don't know how you were so cool about it, but you kind of saved us in the situation. Yeah, you wasn't stressing. We were like, wee. And I was like, hey, you gotta do what you gotta do, because we've been in such a situation. We've seen it. Like example, we go to enjoy our night, and then comes situation somebody wants to fight. Of course, it's a stressful situation, but some of us have to maneuver. Of course, there's always the option of starting the beef and going straight in, but maneuver through it and with a calm conversation. And the other one is like, see, my bad, I'm sorry, But it's a skill set, and of course, I want to improve it always, to be able to handle it even much more efficiently. But with the current state, it's decent. It's decent. It just shows that I do not lock up in such a situation. That's why I can work in different places, because I can adapt to it, even though it's stressful.
Good you said that, because I wanted to point something out. Because I know as a fact, like it today, that some people work only good in their environment. Especially Finnish people. I'm now bashing every Finnish people. Why? Because I have seen it so many times. But when they are in Finland, they are the big G, they are the man, they are the one, they are the him. But the moment they go outside of Finland, all of a sudden, all that confidence, it went somewhere. Like, what happened? You demonstrated as well that not only here in Finland, it's not your home country, of course, but I'm telling that even outside of Finland, in a territory where you don't know anything about, you don't know the language, you don't know the environment, you don't know nothing, you still could manage the stressful situation where something happened and it wasn't in your control. So what can we do?
What option do we got?
Yeah, and good you said that, because my next question would be, and I would say this maybe one of the last
we're kind of
questions.
trying to close off.
How much has the martial arts helped you with this? Because the reason why I'm asking is because I have been a martial artist myself, and I have seen that when you have a practice and you are a little bit anxious about the practices, especially if you get to spar with somebody who is pushing you. Afterwards, when you walk somewhere or when you are hanging out somewhere, the anxiousness doesn't set in, because you already are in this high stress environment when you are battling out with somebody. So my question is to you, that how much has it helped you, martial arts in itself, when it comes to stressful situations?
I would say a lot, in a sense. Of course, not make you invincible in your head, but of course it enables you to have that mentality of, if you are put in certain type of situation. Of course, you always try to avoid it, but if you are put in certain type of situation, you're capable of protecting yourself first of all, and protecting whoever is around you if needed. And that's why it's always recommended for people to practice something that requires a physical contact, was it wrestling, jiu-jitsu, or MMA, or kickboxing, whatever it is.
And I might even add up to it, if you don't like it, that's okay, learn the basics.
Learn the basics.
Learn the basics. And then you can go and play any sport you like, or any activity you like, or never activity at all. But learn the basics. You know what to do if the situation happens.
Learn to defend yourself, pretty much. Because, of course, always when I'm put in, how would I say? Confrontation. There's always the back thought of, because we're living in the modern days. Yeah. You never know if somebody has something longer than their hand reach, pretty much. you never know if somebody has another tool in the background.
Yes,
Of
sir.
course, you could say like, I will be this, be that, but because nowadays we do not work with the same morals and codes as people were working in back days, you might do this and that, beat somebody up, and next thing you know, motherfucker pulls a gun and that was it. Your story ended there. That's why I usually tend to avoid conflicts with conversation. Even though I might know I could whoop his ass properly and hand him over with a certificate of getting whooped, I will always try to talk it out, you know, because of course that's the most easiest, and that's why a lot of like big martial artists tend to tell you that run. If you have the option of running, run. You ain't trying to show your skill set of non-black, because a street fight is not guaranteed. You will never know if you walk out from it in a way or none of that. But
we ain't trying to find out.
right, we ain't trying to find out. If I ain't required, of course, like example, if you go outside and somebody starts messing with you, like, oh, I'll whoop your ass. Of course, then I will, hey, yo, what's good, my nigga? Like, what you trying to say?
No, even
what you trying to say?
I took an example, and this sentence, you know that they have been raised in a very safe space. When they say violence is never the answer. You know that they have been raised in a safe space, because unfortunately violence sometimes is not the answer, is required. I was with one of the ladies that I was seeing at that time, and we were talking about this, and I was joking around as I will whoop their ass. Like, of course, I'm
Regular.
I will never provoke a fight. Like, don't get me wrong.
Cap.
Cap. But she then like tried to check me out. Like, violence is never the answer. And I said to her that, and I looked from my expression that she was dead serious. And I said to her that if you and me are walking and somebody tries to harm you, I will step in. Because you cannot run with those heels, or you cannot run. She was, at that time, she was in that place that she cannot run from that situation. I said to her that I will step to that place, and if violence is required to get that man, usually a man, but it can be a woman as well, to get out of that, I will do it. And she said, well, yeah, okay. Of course, it's not fun. It's not a choice. Like, you're not
Something
choosing.
that I'm like, oh, I want that first.
Oh, I see red.
Ooh, okay. They go catch this pain.
But the capability has to be there, and more so it has to be in a way where it's absolutely the last resort. We are promoting right now that if you have a chance to avoid it, avoid it. If they call you a bitch, if they call you an asshole, if they call you whatever, it's okay. It doesn't matter. Like, you can still like
Come to the alley and catch the fate.
Like,
what?
all I'm saying is that they can call you stuff. They can say whatever. You can still like say, "Ah, bro, cool. It's okay." Like, still move. And you have seen me doing this. Like, you have seen in the concrete that I have masterfully said, "Hey, it's okay. It's okay. It's cool. It's cool." But then there are some sick freaks, or they are drug addict, or they are alcoholic, or
Sick freaks.
there are moments where they get this close, then you don't know what's going on.
No, you don't allow somebody to get that close.
Whatever the case may be, you cannot allow them to be in your face. You don't see what's going to happen. And like he said, it gives you a certain type of confidence, a certain type of security, that if the situation arises, you can know what to do. But you still don't use it in the sense that, oh, I'm gonna beat everybody up there. We have told stories, we have told manners, and how to manage or this situation.
Summarize a bit for them.
I will summarize it.
How would you personally go with the thing that if you're put in a stressful situation, how would you start navigate through it for you to be able to confidently, sometimes it might not always be full confidence, but at least you know well awarely that, hey, I gotta do this and that in order for me to at least move somewhere from the situation.
Yes, well, basically, I had always had this mindset that just one more, or never give up, or there will never be a moment where this is forever. The stressful situation. So therefore, it gives you the power to move on. That's the first thing. The second thing is, I am a very proud man. That pride can sometimes, not sometimes, but in many times, it can lead me to push through whatever it might be. And then I have a purpose in life. So these are the things that even if I'm dead tired, even if I'm in a very stressful situation, even if all the things, because I have a purpose in my life, it overcomes all that. And because I know that it's just a feeling. Stress with altogether, it's just a feeling, just like other things. The only difference is that I always see it as which stress is self-sabotaging and which stress is actually from the environment. If usually in the first world, the stress is from yourself. It's usually not from environmental thing. It's usually from your mind playing tricks on you. But then let's say kids in Palestine who has been bombed for how many years, they have stress from the environment. Like it's not their choosing. Even I discussed with you, kids 13 years old, they're growing gray hair because of the stress, high stress situations that they have all the time. Like we have a luxury that at one point, if in time of the day, we don't have stress. When we go to sleep, for example, they have stress even when they sleep, when they wake up, when they are in the morning, in the evening, and during the day, during the night. They're always in this stress cycle. 13-year-old boy is having gray hair. So that's an environmental stress. In the first world country, stress, I would say 90% of the time, is usually what your brain has been doing to you. That's how I see it. How do I navigate it? Usually it's the feeling that this is just a feeling. If I have somebody who is close, a friend or brother, a parent, I am very fortunate, especially my father. If I talk with him, even though he might not be expert in that field or he might not know about those things, just to talk with my father, it gives me a certain type of perspective that maybe I haven't considered. But now it has come, like it's been years that I have been put in high stress situations. So the competence has risen to a point that if the situation comes, it has to be something like I haven't experienced ever. Other than that,
regular shit. Ooh.
It is what it is.
It is what it is, pretty much.
If you want advice, I can give you that. Put yourself in high stress situations deliberately, in a sense of do something very uncomfortable, or take a martial arts class, or
that right there.
Or you're terrified to talk to people. Like
that right there.
There you go.
That
like
right there.
Put yourself in those situations, because from those then you have the skills. For example, his situation where he had to navigate that nobody will follow those persons that they were followed.
But overall, like you just said, put yourself in the situation that you might not feel comfortable in, but have to navigate through it. Of course, we don't mean by that just jump in a plane and then go to war all of a sudden or something like that.
Not like that, bro.
But situation, for example, in your workplace or in your school, if you have a project and you're asked if you want to try out something that you haven't done before, say it out. Yeah, let me try. You might not know anything about it, but you want to try, and that is quickest way of you navigating through it.
Yeah,
and
it puts pressure on you.
Yeah, and usually it kind of boost up the way that you handle stress, because the more you put yourself in a situation that is not familiar to you, the much easier it is for you to handle it in future if you are put in the hardest places, for example.
What happens to a rock?
To who?
To a rock,
yeah,
or to a coal.
Yeah.
If it puts a very high pressure, it becomes a diamond.
Shine bright like a diamond.
You get what I'm saying?
Shine bright.
So basically, if you want to become a competent man or a competent woman who can navigate through a stressful situation, you have to become that person who has experienced stress and used it in their advantage.
Pretty much.
You? Do you have anything more to add?
No, not really. Most of the things that I would have said, you already kind of brought it up, and
Yes, sir.
I agree with those all too. And that was pretty much it. That do things that you are not comfortable with, and you will achieve things. You almost guaranteed that. Especially if you are like willingly on top of everything, putting yourself in such situations, you will at minimum learn something about yourself and about how to handle certain situations.
Yes, sir. And remember, he said it in the beginning where the officers had this discussion that it's better to give an order even though if it's wrong. To give, you learn from it.
The point is you take action.
You take action.
You take action.
Because it's easier to take action, do something wrong, you're smarter, and then you can come back and do it again. Contrary to let me think, and then do the action. It might be right, but the guy who has done it, failed, come back and do it again, they get further. Unfortunately.
Because the cruel example of that is, imagine a military warfare, basically a warfare, and you have a leader. You're in a, let's say, crossfire, or you're under attack, and the leader has an option of moving your team somewhere or not doing anything. You can imagine which one is almost guaranteed for you to be wiped out.
Exactly.
So that's why they tell you to always take action, because even if you fuck up or mess up everything, at least you took action, you took it, and it's on you. Because either way, it's still gonna be on you, but the other one will at least have some type of chance.
Yes, sir.
So yeah, but with that, we're gonna wrap it up. And always remember, we're gonna keep our viewers active, because some of y'all might be. You know what we're gonna do down here. You know what to do.
Yes, sir.
You're gonna subscribe, like, and comment down below, and hit the bell notification always, so you get notified about our new episodes. And do you have any finishing words that you would like to tell?
Actually, no.
No. Oh, he said, man, fuck y'all, I guess. But yeah, thank y'all for watching again. We hope to see you in the next one, and appreciate it. Peace.
Peace out.
Chee! I died.